All right, let's get to geoeconomics correspondent Erin Delmore. She's here to talk about the economic implications of what we've just been listening to. So, Erin, markets, last I checked, I don't know if we have a big little there showing how the markets are doing on the air right now, but I can look briefly here to see that they are in positive territory.
Exactly. So we're seeing all three major American indexes hovering around 0.7, maybe 0.8% of a percentage point up this morning. Big turnaround from yesterday, where the entire storyline was about the Sell America trade. We saw all three major indexes falling. We actually saw the S&P 500 having its worst day since October 2025. And that kind of a fall harkens back to the day after Liberation Day, when President Trump announced his tariffs. Now, I remember reporting from Wall Street on that day, and I remember I was asked by the correspondent, by the anchor, are there any bright spots? There were 6 stocks that day out of the entire S&P 500 that were in positive territory.
Out of the 500
Out of the 500. So when we start comparing like that, it's seismic. But today, turnaround story. Investors are clearly heartened by what the president had to say about not using military force in Greenland.
The president spoke a lot about Greenland. He spoke a lot about the U.S. economy, touting improvements that he says are a result of his administration. Let's play some of that sound.
The United States economy is on pace to grow at double the rate that was projected by the IMF just last April. And with my growth and tariff policies, it should be much higher. I really believe we can be much higher than that. And this is all great news, and it's great for all nations. The USA is the economic engine on the planet, and when America booms, the entire world booms. It's been the history.
Positive language about our economy, about its potential. What do the economic indicators show? What do the American people feel?
Well, the American people aren't feeling so rosy about the U.S. economy. And let's break down what the president was saying there. When he talks about growth, a lot of times he talks about GDP. And surely the GDP at this moment is looking pretty hearty. Something we were worried about in the first quarter of the year when we saw those numbers dip a bit, but have since recovered. But let's talk about what goes into the American economy as a whole. Sure, GDP is one piece. There's also the labor market, which we can see is softening. We're seeing hiring slow, and we're also seeing wage growth tempering. Now, were those two reversed, we'd be seeing a more robust labor market. On the upside, unemployment is still hovering around a low near 4%. We're also seeing pretty strong consumer spending. That goes into the plus column. But a big thing happening right now is the uncertainty, not just for investors, not just for spenders, but also for businesses who aren't sure how much they can hire or how much they can spend. And in that way, tariffs are one of the main stories that really underlies all of the economic indicators here. Businesses aren't sure what kind of tariff policy will be in effect. They don't know what they'll be charging for their goods or what potentially they might have to owe back. And that's keeping them from being able to expand and able to hire. So we're really at a wait and see moment on the economy. You know, President Trump went on to say when the U.S. does well, other countries do well. Sure, we are all economically tied together, largely through trade partnerships. But he also said after that, that if the U.S. economy doesn't do well, if it falls, everybody falls with it, really sending a bit of a shock through the audience there in Davos.
All right, Erin Delmore, always good to have you here. Thank you very much. We want to thank all of our guests, of course, Erin, Ed O'Keefe, Ramy Inocencio, and of course, Ambassador Alan Leventhal for their analysis and their reporting. We got a lot more news straight ahead. Stay with us. This is 24/7 Mornings.